Have you ever lain awake wondering if the world would look any different if you'd never shown up in it? Inside each of us throbs a desire to live a life that means something, to reach the end of our days, look back, and know we filled some important hole or finished some important work. Like George Bailey and his Building and Loan, we need to believe the world would be a little poorer without us. We don't necessarily need a wonderful life, we just need one that matters. Now, that longing is common to every person everywhere, and a longing that universal is usually a key to something. Well, not so much a key, more like a lock. What we need is the key that explains why that longing is there at all. Welcome back to Beyond the Black Box. This is the first episode in a series about the biggest questions in life. Who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? It's an opportunity for us to get to know each other. It'll reveal my assumptions and biases and show you the overall shape of the world as it's seen through the lens of Christianity. It'll help you understand why I answer questions the way I do. Back in the 90s, or what my children call the late 1900s, it's what we used to call a worldview. See, when confronted with the big questions about identity and purpose, most of us tend to land in one of two places. We either shove them to the back of the mind as mere philosophical abstraction, or we stare fixedly at them and slide into something like an existential crisis. Now, it's true, you can go a long way through life not thinking about ultimate meaning, but then one day, life pushes back, something happens, and the question of what it all means starts outweighing the business of daily life. You stop eating or sleeping or both. And in that moment, you can't hide from the questions anymore. Who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? And whatever triggered it, the death, the sickness, the crushed dream, the cruelty, a fear begins to boil up inside that the universe doesn't actually care, that there's no meaning in it. It's just stuff that happens. Planets go round the sun, rain falls, life just happens to exist. Now, some meet that fear head on and take it for the basic truth of life. Thinkers like Nietzsche or Camus' Stranger. Embrace the absurd, shake your fist at the heavens, use your short time to make a fury, and with Dylan Thomas, refuse to go gentle into that good night. Now, you might say there's real courage in such a stance. Maybe. I wonder if it's less an answering of the fear and more a humming loudly enough not to hear it. Like my roommate in college who fixed the noisy exhaust leak on his car by turning up the radio. Well, another heavy hitter, Blaise Pascal, agrees that you can't really hide from these questions behind simple bravado. He broke that code almost 200 years before Nietzsche or Camus were even born. In a raw passage in his book Pensée, reflecting on his own deeply felt angst and before he presented a solution comparable to the one that saved me, he wrote, "This is our true state. We sail within a vast sphere, ever drifting in uncertainty, driven from end to end. When we think to attach ourselves to any point and to fasten to it, it wavers and leaves us. And if we follow it, it eludes our grasp, slips past us, and vanishes forever. Nothing stays for us. This is our natural condition, and yet most contrary to our inclination. We burn with longing to find solid ground and an ultimate sure foundation whereupon to build a tower reaching to the infinite, but our whole groundwork cracks, and the earth opens to abysses." Now, if, like the rest of us, you feel an inexplicable need for the universe to have meaning and a longing to matter within it, I'd suggest with Pascal, that's not weakness, it's clarity. Longings, especially universal ones, aren't simply free-floating. The built-in hungers we experience usually point to something real. A baby cries for milk, and milk exists. We thirst, and water exists. We ache for connection, and other people exist. Now, I know that pattern doesn't make for a formal proof of anything, but it would be strange if the most deeply seated and universal desire of the human heart, the need for meaning, connected to nothing in the real world. I think what that desire is seeking is a simple picture, a singular one that can make sense of everything we meet, happiness and sorrow both in one frame. A place to stand where things become clear, like one of those hidden picture puzzles. From one angle, it's just a riot of colored dots. Take a step nearer and the image jumps out. Now, I was raised in the Christian faith, and was told my whole life that it held the answers for everything. Well, then one day I reached a point where the Christian answer didn't either work or else I'd gravely misunderstood it. And I decided then and there, and still believe, that if Christianity really can't answer these questions with anything like a satisfying answer, I might as well convert to something else. If there really is no angle from which chaos resolves into beauty, goodness, and truth, why kid myself? Then the Christian faith is either false or might as well be. Ever been there? Now I can hear Denise now. She's saying in my ear, Jeremy, this is so abstract. Get out of your own head. Make it practical.
Okay, fine. But I like being in my head. I'm really good company. So here's a simple question that we can actually climb inside of in a few episodes in more detail. Who's in charge round here? Who is it? Chance? Fate? Human will? God? See, when something shatters your life, that question stops being abstract. If fate runs the show, or even if raw human power is the final word and you're just the weaker party, well, why not become the strong one yourself? Nietzsche's answer. Now, his answer is actually more complicated, but that's the answer credited most often to Nietzsche. If, however, it's God, or even the gods, a whole different set of options open up. Where were the gods when it happened? Did they cause it? Did they allow it? Or simply not know about it? And Christianity offers a set of answers to these questions. Buddhism does too, though differently, and modern atheism answers them differently again. Yes, those answers occasionally overlap, but only occasionally. And so naturally, you want to know which one is true, or at least truest. You know, true in the sense of actually describing the world outside our heads, not just inside them. I mean, I could build an entire worldview on the premise that gravity doesn't exist, and it might hang together beautifully inside my mind, right up until the point where I jumped off the building. The universe has a way of pushing back at bad ideas, sometimes as fast as gravity, sometimes more slowly, like in the quiet accumulation of a life that's stopped making sense. But it does push back. For what it's worth, and this will govern how I handle everything I pull out of the black box, I still believe the God of historic Christianity has described the world accurately, and I continue to stake my life on that. But if I'm being completely honest with you, the fit isn't always perfect. There's rarely a complete match between my experiences and what God has said the world is like. Now, I doubt that's a problem unique to Christianity. Probably everyone faces that, no matter what ism they follow. But it is the framework I'm in. So why does this gap between my experience and what I'm told is true exist? Well, two suggestions briefly. First, we can confuse the feeling of doubt with an actual reason to doubt. Huh? Well, doubt is a natural, normal sign that I've hit something my current framework can't handle, can't account for. It is not in itself proof the framework is wrong. Let me say that again for the people in the back. The feeling of doubt is not by itself proof that the thing I'm doubting is false. Yes, I know I'm still being abstract. Okay. If I feel doubt that a tree branch will not hold my weight, that is not reason to declare all tree branches frauds. Rather, it's a prompt to look harder at this tree branch. Doubt is supposed to end in renewed confidence, not stand in as the final verdict. If you treat doubt like the final verdict, it becomes self-fulfilling, like the child whose fear of water is the very thing that causes her to sink, thereby proving the doubt right. The second suggestion, a bit more complicated, yes. Tree branches do sometimes break. I don't think the honest Christian answer is, oh, God never lets that happen. That's an act of self-deception. Bad things do happen. Now, the issue of the gap between experience and truth is far bigger than we can handle here, but what I can offer is a working theory, tested against my own life. I've learned time tends to narrow the gap between my experience and what God says about the world. See, during a season of deep depression, You can go read the book about it. God's promised nearness felt like a lie. I wasn't even sure in that moment God existed at all. It's only now, years later, that I can spot the small mercies scattered through that darkness, the evils that could have happened, should have happened, and didn't. Now, I'm not asking you to lie to yourself about your own dark seasons. I'm asking whether at some distance now they look different than they did from the inside. Not less painful, just less final. And that's all the confirmation I'm asking for. The past is not as fixed as we think. And if you want proof that the past can change color entirely, go try to rewatch an old episode of The Cosby Show. See, in my experience, the passage of time tends to decrease the distance between what God has said and my experience of it. They slowly grow together with time. And this fact gives me the ability to believe that the parts that have not yet reached overlap one day will. That's the journey I want to take with you. How does Christianity explain the world and human history and me inside it? And I don't ask you to believe any of it yet. Hey, your own answers may still be working for you. That's great. For now, just file the coming episodes away in your mind for the day when your answers don't seem to work anymore. And have hope. There may be better answers you can try out, stronger branches for you to climb. Now, that's all I'm going to do in this series. I'm going to point in the direction where I have found answers. And incidentally, it is the direction Christians have been pointing for 2,000 years.
Hey there. If you're willing, drop me a comment about the moment life pushed back at you, where the what's it all about question stopped being abstract and got real. How has time changed your perspective on it? Or has it? And of course, if this was worth your time, a like or subscribe does help me keep going. See you next time.